Welcome to a special edition of eYe Education. I'm your host, Ed Lecious, and in these special programs, we'll be meeting candidates for the Board of Education in Nashua's November 4th general election. Joining us today is Kendra Soucie-Smith. Kendra, welcome to eYe Education.
Hi.
Business person, small business person here in Nashua. Mm-hmm. Lived in Nashua all your life?
Since
or most
I was
of
about,
it?
Yep, 12.
12 years old? That's excellent. And you've got a business here, and now you're making your first run at elective office. And before we came on the air, you said to me, I'm not a politician.
Yep.
I'm a young person that wants to get involved. So who is Kendra Soucie-Smith?
Well, this year I turned 48 years old. I know a lot of people don't share their age, but I'm going to share my age because I feel like I'm 48 years young. Right? My kids have kept me young. I'm a mother of 4. I've raised 4 kids here in Nashua. I grew up here since I was 12, raised by my single dad who was in the military. I think there's 10 of us total for siblings. So that's kind of who I am. I've worked in the community. I've grown up in the community. I've raised my kids in the community. I've coached sports here in the community. I now own a business here in this community, and I run a nonprofit here in this community as well.
And what do you do with your free time?
This is my free time.
Now, for our viewers, you have a very well-known business in Nashua.
Yes.
Soul Sisters.
Yes.
How did you get started in that?
Again, being raised by a single father. My father is African American and was born and raised in Bellamy, Alabama. Becoming a single dad obviously was rough for him with 3 kids. I was 4 years old. My sister was 3, and my brother was 6 months old. So my grandmother would come here and help. And then we'd go down there and spend weeks, months sometimes, for summer. And we learned how to cook. So the reason why I opened up Soul Sisters is because we don't have soul food here. So I wanted to bring some of that here for people to be able to have something different.
How long have you been in operation now?
This year was our 6th year. So we've had a brick and mortar for 2 years at 30 Temple.
Indian Head Plaza, or
The Pink Palace.
The Pink Palace, known to those who lived in Nashua for a while or grew up here. That's what it's known as. And so, at a young age, you learned to cook, and
Yep.
I guess you enjoyed it because you took it to the next step and started a business.
Yeah, the oldest of 3, with my dad working full-time to, raise us and be able to take care of us. I mean, I was pretty much in charge of making sure dinner was done every day. So, yeah, at a young age, my first thing I learned how to cook, or I liked to cook, was French fries.
Oh,
And then from there, peanut butter cookies, because you always had everything you needed to make peanut butter cookies.
that's right. That was the old staple,
Yeah.
peanut butter.
Yep.
Now, interesting, your business obviously has been successful, and one would not think that Nashua would be a place where soul food would be something that people would want, but I guess you got a pretty varied clientele.
Yeah, we've become a hub. We do Meals on Wheels as well, so we take care of, the elderly coming in and being able to have nutritious and delicious meals because we make everything from scratch. We do Adult Day for Gateways over at the Palmer Center at Alvern, so we make sure that they have a healthy meal as well. And then, making sure people can get home-cooked food when they want it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, you also have a nonprofit. What's that all about?
So I worked at South High School here in Nashua for 6 years in the kitchen. I helped to make food from scratch for them as well, getting out of the box and the stereotypical French fries and chicken every day or pizza. I was, grateful enough to have the opportunity to also be a substitute at a couple of other schools, Bicentennial, Ledge Street, and a summer cook at Fairgrounds Elementary School. So I got to see the kids and see what they liked. But at South, something really touched my heart. Mrs. Yates had a class there. She's amazing. And I used to fill the snack machines. So I would go out into the hallways to do that. And she would be sitting out there sometimes with the classroom, they're brainstorming on what's the next thing to do. I believe it was like civics or something like that, right? Where they're trying to figure out what they can do in their community to help our world become a better place. And they came up with a program called Meals Matters. And why they came up with this program is because they realized that some of their peers were not eating. They didn't have money for food. So they created this program that these kids could go anonymously and get a ticket from a guidance counselor, a teacher, or even in the food service office, and they'd be able to go through the line and eat and just pass it off to the cashier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and be able to have a meal. So when COVID hit, I was still working. It was Friday the 13th. I know, right? It's so eerie that was the date. But that was the date. And my daughter at the time was in Elm Street. I want to say it was her second year at Elm Street. And we just sat down one day and was like, wow, like some of these kids are not going to have food because the only food they get is at school, right? And I literally just posted something on my business page and said, guys, this is something that I want to do, but this is how much money I have, right? And I had a customer who donated, and I think I went to this place called Restaurant Depot with maybe $225. And we went out and we made the meals for dinner time, and we fed 150 kids, which tells you that there's a need, right?
Absolutely.
And somehow, some way, like asking for donations, like people just gave. And at that time, they had money to give because there was COVID money, so that was free, and they weren't used to having it. And it's like, all right, fine, I'm doing a good cause. And we were doing a good cause, and I say we because it wasn't just me, it was the community too, right? And it's just grown from there. God just kept on making things happen so that program could continue. So now we're at 6 years for that as well. And the kids look for us, so that's what keeps us going.
Amazing.
Yeah.
This is your first run for office.
Yep.
Why the Board of Education?
So again, I grew up in the school system here. I went to Fairgrounds my first year, and then Elm Street, moved on to South and graduated from South. I clearly had struggles. I was, living with my dad, a single dad, and, things happen, and life was rough, and I ended up dropping out my senior year needing 1 credit. I just thought I saw a different way of life, right? Needless to say, I ended up going back and I graduated from Nashua High School South, and I'm grateful for that. I also realized that there were other programs out there, like through the community college, where you can get certificates. You didn't actually have to go and do 4 years at college, right? Not all of us have that luxury of getting grants and stuff, or even taking the right path. Sometimes you go off the right path and you have to find your way back, and that's something I had to learn. But then I became a mother, and that was different. And my first daughter actually ended up needing Title I for reading. Brilliant, broke my heart because I read to that girl every single day from the day she was born, right? So it broke my heart, but she was at Bicentennial. Amazing school. And she went to Girls Inc. for kindergarten, and it was the last year of kindergarten at Girls Inc. So they did the Title I. And at the beginning of the year, they had her read, and they videoed it. And then at the end of the year, she got to see it again. So we saw the progress, and the Title I helped. And that was fantastic for her. From there, she went to Dr. Crisp, and school was still amazing, right? She's a child that caught on very quickly. My second daughter, born 7 years later, was born with congenital cataracts. So she was completely blind when she was born. We did Children's Pyramid when she was 6 months old because she had her cataracts removed, and we learned how to parent a low vision child, right? So that was a learning curve. And then that also brought me through going through the special education system. So that's why I'm running. I'm running for Nadia. Nadia graduated this year in June. Amazing, right? Honor student, loves to read, loves to learn, but there were struggles along the way. And there are things that I feel like maybe I could have done better, but I also learned to advocate for her. And I also saw that there are significant cracks with our special education system. So we have issues with that. We have issues with food insecurity, right? And then we have issues with the budget and safety. And that's why I'm running.
Well, it's certainly a busy person, they say give them a task and it gets done, and I can see you probably fit that bill. One of the things that you'll be encountering if you're elected is there currently a feasibility study going on of the school buildings in Nashua, and there could be a recommendation when it comes out later this year to close a couple of schools because of the declining enrollment and, in some instances, the need to do major renovations to bring them up to code. As a member of the board, you'd be voting on that. Do you feel, presented with facts, that you would be able to vote to close the school if need be?
I think I would. I feel like what we need to realize as a community is that change is hard for everybody, right? People don't like to move if they're in their family home and they've been there forever. Change is just hard. When you start a new job, you know, it's hard. Everything's hard. Being a mom is hard. Being a dad is hard. Like, moving on is hard. So if we have to close a school to make it better for the children, then I agree, right? We can't keep putting Band-Aids on some of our schools. Like Elm Street's been old probably since I was there, right? And we've put
It's even older because I was there.
and before that, I believe it was something else, right?
It was
Before it was
the
the
high
high
school.
school. It
That's
was
when
the
I
high
was there,
school,
high
right?
school.
See? So, I mean, after all those years, as much as we'd like to keep all of our historic buildings historic, I think that if you left and came back in 10 years, you'd be like, wow, look at the changes. I mean, I'm going to say this for the people who lived in Bronstein or have known of Bronstein, right? I lived in Bronstein. So we're looking at it now and it's like this huge Monahan Manor and we're like, wow. But it serves the people. It's serving a purpose.
What do you see as the number one issue besides anything that might come out of this study facing the Nashua School District today?
Oh, safety. I think that will be our next biggest issue. We need to get up with the times. And I know that's going to annoy a lot of people. But we're just now putting bulletproof glass vestibule, safety, security vestibules in our schools. And I feel like we're decades behind.
We're almost out of time here, Kendra, and is there anything that you would like the people watching us today to know, or something that we didn't touch upon that you'd like to let people know your position on?
I would like to say that, again, I'm not a politician. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I am forever a student. I'm always learning. I am a community member who's here and sees our children. I see them when I'm out there feeding them. I see them when I'm dropping off my own child or her friends. I've seen them when I've taught sports or gone to music concerts. A lot of our children have grown up together. So when I'm running, I'm not running for myself. I am running for the kids. So I would love to ask for your vote on November 4th. I'd love for you to make sure that you're paying attention to the rest of the candidates and what they're saying, and if it fits in the needs of your family and your children. And just be mindful that this is our community and they are all of our kids. So that's why I'm running.
Kendra Soucie-Smith, thanks for being with us today.
Thank
Good
you
luck to you on November 4th.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll be hearing more from you between your success if you're elected, as well as your business endeavors that are kind of a gem here in Nashua. Soul Sisters.
Absolutely. Come see me, 30 Temple Street.
Now, what are your hours, quickly?
Tuesday, Thursday, we are open from 11 to 7, and on Friday, we are open from noon to 8. And Sunday, we actually host church, Blueprint Ministries, from 10 to 12. So come to that too.
That's great.
Yeah, we do all kinds of stuff. Book events, we host events, weddings, baby showers, all the things. And we would love to have the kids come out on October 25th for our trunk or treat.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us today, and good luck.
Thank you.
You've been watching a special edition of eYe Education, featuring the candidates for the Board of Education in Nashua's November 4th election. I'm Ed Lecious. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.